Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Cullen on Film. You can catch us here, Facebook Live, also Cullen on Film on YouTube and SoundCloud. So check those out. And today we have a film teacher forum guest show, and we'll start out with you, James.
Hi, my name is James Dowd. I'm a video production teacher at Northern Burlington High School. Been doing that for about 14 years, and really excited to be on the pod, CJ. So thanks for the invite.
Yeah, Chris. Your microphone.
Yeah, Corey. I'm the sister to Chris or CJ because I teach Middletown South, and he teaches Middletown North. And oddly enough, we both went to the other school. So I've been teaching film production there for 6 or 7 years, and then before that, I was at Warren Hills out in Warren County.
And Lou.
And my name is Louis Libitz, digital film instructor over at the East Brunswick Tech School of the Arts, and I've been over there now for going on 7 years.
Wow. I guess I'm the one with the least amount. Going on what? I don't even know. Do you know, Chris? I don't even know. It's like year 3, I think. But during this, it's like year 4, 5, 6. I don't know. This whole thing is crazy. So, your voice is gone.
Sorry.
There
the first 2.5 year, I think, for you. Like it was every other day, right?
Every other day. That was weird.
Yeah. And then there was also that year you were in my classroom.
Yeah. Every day.
Whatever, yeah, it was very odd.
I was a para at South for a year, and they gave you like an hour break and said like, here's your lunch break. You're not getting paid. So I was like, can I come in your room?
Yeah, it's because you would, I don't know if you were editing, but like,
yeah,
they have kids like ask you questions and all that kind of thing. So,
yeah.
But the best part is that I could go to the bathroom.
That's true. That's the worst part. You guys have that trouble? Like, I can never leave. I can never run to the bathroom.
Yep.
That's the only good thing about the quarantine. You can go to the bathroom. I'm going to the bathroom now.
Whenever you want. You can eat whenever you want. You can go to the bathroom whenever you want. That's great.
So how are you guys dealing with this new way? This new way of quarantine teaching film TV? How are you dealing with it? As my lawnmower man comes, every time I'm on, he comes by.
I'll start. I mean, the distance learning has been it's been challenging, because a buddy of mine said, it's kind of the worst parts of teaching without the best parts. It's kind of just sending and grading assignments and giving feedback, but it's none of that, person to person. It's none of that seeing the kids sort of evolution. It's none of the giving your hands on cameras kind of thing. So that's really the most fun part about teaching, especially this stuff. Is getting your hands on cameras and having the kids kind of get that light bulb moment and see them edit and see their development, and I think that's what I miss the most. Really, it's just the kids every day.
Yeah. What about you, Chris? How are you handling it?
I don't really like it. Obviously, I think it's pretty much across the board. Any film teacher or any teacher for that matter I've spoken to doesn't really dig it. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting because our last day at school, there were some kids who had cameras and some who didn't. Mm-hmm. And I said to them, actually, I saw this coming. So I said the day before, like, if you want equipment, take it. And their kids, their kids are like, I might take it, whatever. And they didn't. And now they're upset because I'm making them make a film. But
yeah, I got 4 cameras out. I got 4 cameras out. I'm like, how do I get them back?
Yeah. You got to hope they come back.
Yeah. I don't get it. What about you, Louis?
I think, as you guys have been saying, I think the thing for us is really the critique that's been struggling. It's really hard to critique the work. For us, right when we were leaving, we were like, running through the wall for our film festival because we have our film festival next week. We're going to actually do it on YouTube Live, premiere. So we went back about a month ago, and I just gave out as much as the gear we possibly could, rolling out computers and laptops. But it's been a struggle to try to get them all to get them in. And it's hard with the critique because we're saying like, change this, there might be a glitch here, or you misspelled this name in the credits, or, to get them to kind of export them out faster. It's been a challenge. And, most of the students are having some difficulties with the online experience.
And Lou, you said it too. I mean, screening the films is always like the best part, because the kids get to show it off to their friends and their the kids in class, getting the feedback, making them laugh when you want them to laugh, making them scared when you want them to be scared. Like, there's something to be said for that, like in-house experience of watching it, watching your creation with the people and getting that instant feedback. It's tough.
What about the bad film? festivals, huh? What about the online? Like now they're all online. So you guys submitted to a bunch of festivals, and now they're coming back to you. Oh, we're going to do it online. Or some of them have pushed back though. So like the kids that are seniors this year, and then like these festivals are not till November or October next year.
Yeah, so. If they even happen. And two, one of the things that I miss, like this is film festival season, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you go and you like, I'll see Lou or I'll see Chris or see whoever, and it's like, hey, catching up and not having to do it virtually, and also, I don't know, I think there's more passive viewing of virtual film festivals versus being in a room or in a theater where you're kind of like you're really paying attention a lot more. And just kind of like I know whenever Lou and I are at the same things, we kind of like, like, oh, I wish I did that, or that was awesome, or this or that.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a photo op. Because we have to post it on Twitter, because otherwise we're not teaching. But yeah, I miss that, and especially this year for me, I'm sure it's the same for you guys. Actually, I know it's the same for you, Chris.
Yeah.
Like you have Yasmin, who's I would say is probably one of your top students.
She's she's interviewing an actress later today.
Oh, okay.
Program.
So cool. for me, I have like I have Vic Pater, who has like been with me for 4 years and like killing it, and I feel bad because she missed the second half of the year basically, but and I know Lou's got ton of kids. Well, they're always with you for 4 years, right, Lou?
Yeah. We our program's a 4-year program, so the audition to get into the program at our School of the Arts. So yeah, luckily I'm for 4 years.
And is that the same for you, James?
So yeah, we have 3 different levels. So very often we'll get obviously the kids who do well in level 1 go on to 2, and then those who really have a passion for it take it for 3. And then we have seniors that kind of help out in the classroom their senior year, or they can wait a year and take everything. But when you have those kids who have taken it for 3 or 4 years, you really see their maturation. You really see their skills get better, and that's the best part, is kind of like being there for them. Because at the end, you're kind of like, you're ready, let's do it. I've shown you everything, all my tricks. I've shown you everything I can show you. And I'm really excited too when they come back and they show me stuff or they email me links. It's like, that's awesome, that they have that passion.
We were like half the kids were like halfway done with their films, and then so a lot of them are still sitting. One kid told me today, because I had a little thing, and he's like, yeah, I think my film's like on the computer in school. Like, great, telling me that now.
They'll have to release the Snyder Cut,
That's it. That's right.
Yeah. Well, that's what one of my students kind of did that in a way. He had a Star Wars thing, and it was short, but he had all this footage, and we had 2 days left to film, and it didn't happen. So he put like a fifth. I told him just keep it as the short, but he made it like 15 minutes long, and it's very good. And then he has like blocks like, we missed this, the little storyline, but it actually turned out pretty good. But I was like, man, 15 minutes, it's tough.
That's a long student film.
It is.
But the short version, which I released anyway to festivals, is going all over the place. And he's like, I want the full version. I'm like, I don't think it's getting in here.
Yeah.
Not for 15 minutes. I don't know.
Well, that's a trick too, right? I mean, I don't want to say a trick, but if you have a really long film and you're a film festival, you have one 15-minute film, or you have 3 5-minute films from 3 different people, you want to give, usually I would think you want to give
3 people
more opportunity to more people.
Yeah.
So, and that's
unless it's very, very good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But how often is that? I mean,
like,
I know there's some people who said that like, oh, I give it 2 minutes and then I'm done or whatever. But
there are some like people, they send me like 40-minute films. I'm like, really?
Right.
Yeah. Well, in class,
minutes.
I'll set the parameters of time limit for, maybe it's a short film or it's a commercial or whatever it is. I'll say, look, you can have your director's cut, but the one I want to screen on screening day has to be this long. Yeah. just for, like you said, to be able to screen all of them, be able to screen more, because the kids, they fall in love with their projects, and for them, it's like, it's theirs. So they don't want to cut anything out. And it's, it's about, getting that, trimming the fat. Just let's get to it. Let's get to the most important stuff. So always a challenge.
That's right. So I always say less is more, right?
Yeah.
I just tell them I like the short ones. Make it short.
Short and sweet.
The film's always going to tell you what it wants to be, right? On the timeline. It's like molding that piece of sculpture, you know?
My favorite time of year is the 1 minute shorts we do. 1 minute. That's it. Do it. 60 seconds. Great. My favorite ones.
That's right.
So,
Chris, I was going to say, this is one thing I've kind of noticed ever since all of us have been teaching. And I know you've been involved in film festivals for a long time. I feel like there's so many opportunities for students. And when I say now, I mean last 10 years for students to show work that I don't remember in college having this many places to show. And I know some people don't like having so many venues, but I think that's a really good thing. Sorry, my son's having a tantrum right now. Anyway, but would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity for them and chances, and then they go to these festivals, and you never know. They'll meet somebody like you were talking about. Yasmin, she met somebody at this festival. She did a documentary, and then she started working for him. I didn't even know this. She's like working for this director, doing all this stuff. She's like, oh yeah, I'm like mentoring. This guy's my mentor. I'm like, okay. Pretty cool stuff, and it turned her. She's going to film school, so
she's going to
Montclair Film School.
Okay,
nice.
Yeah. What about you guys? Have any students that like are going to film school, college, who like weren't going to or do something else that kind of changed?
Yeah, we have one of our students, Maria Martinez. She just got one of the art merit scholarships at SVA, so she's going there in the fall. We have a couple of students at Montclair. One student's at Micah, and we have some that do the community college route, like Brookdale Community College, Mercer Community College, Union County. So we've gotten a couple. I mean, but when they get to seniors, it's about roughly anywhere from 8 students to 10 students that we have.
I think in the public school we're thought of not way up there, and to get people to turn into film and TV and all that stuff. It was, well, for me, for only doing it for 3 years, it's pretty like proud moments when they say, oh, I'm going to film school. I got in. I don't know what you guys think about that. But.
Absolutely.
I think that's the thing is if you're a parent, you always hear that thing. Well, what are they really going to do? And it's like, well, you can make money doing this. It's just a matter of you have to be really good, and you have to be you have to have the work ethic. And I think that's one of the most important things because we do. It's funny. We have kids come back and they talk on Wednesdays, kind of like similar stuff to what you do, Chris. But we have a guest speaker. And so last 2 weeks have been kids who I had years ago. And now they're working, they're either in college or the workplace, whatever. And they're saying they go to college and they're like, their peers have not been prepared. They haven't even handled a camera. Like they don't understand.
They just go into it right then and there.
You're like, I'm going to be a director because I'm saying I'm going to be a director or whatever. But
yeah, one of the best compliments I got was from a former graduate. She says, everybody wants to be on my production team because I know what I'm doing. That's great. I mean, she knows Premiere or she knew Final Cut or whatever it was. So it's good that we prep them. And then when they get there, like you said, they're not just there to say that they're like, they know the stuff and they're ready. So
they're ahead of the game, right? So they can now really concentrate more on those concepts.
For sure.
They got their basics down.
We should be getting kickbacks from the colleges.
Yeah, that's it. I was going to say.
We're athletes. The athlete.
Montclair is becoming more of a former Middletown. Like a lot of kids from the Middletown South or North are going there now. So it's like,
it's really funny to me because I think
Canon scholarships, Adobe scholarships.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, too, they were talking like if you have a terminal degree too, are you better off going into high school with that terminal degree, or are you better off, adjuncting at a college and making nothing and going insane? There's times I really want to teach college, but I don't want to get paid that college salary.
Yeah, not at the adjunct level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it would be kind of cool to be able to teach one class at night or something like that. Have you guys done any of that?
I've been teaching as an adjunct since 2003. So
wow.
2 years ago, I just did my 25th class.
Wow.
And it was, it's fun. But when you have this full-time gig as we all have, and we know the hours and and dedication. We don't stop at 3:30, right? It's constant after hours, after school editing. I mean, even just for this our quarantine online instruction. So when you're dragging and you need that third cup of coffee to get through the class from 7 to 10, it can take its toll on you. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I've done some adjunct work like at Ramapo, William Patterson, Monmouth, some online classes. Like you said, it's tough. Like you get out of one job and then you hit home, maybe you grab a bite and then you're off and doing it again for 3 more hours. And then when you leave, you're wired again, right? Because you don't want to have to go to bed right away. So that next day is a little challenging. But it's cool to get those different perspectives too, because you get a little more freedom with the college kids. Especially at night, I taught a couple courses at Holy Family. So, you can kind of set them up for a project, let them do their thing, have them come back and just kind of facilitate, what they need to do.
Yeah. Do you find, so I never taught at the college level, but I was a graduate assistant when I was at Montclair. So it's kind of like teaching, but it's not quite the same thing. Do you find you have more loyalty? I say loyalty, but I should have better words. But like you're a mentor, right? When you're in high school and they kind of buy into your thing. Whereas at college, especially if you're an adjunct, it's kind of hard because you're not seeing them every day, and maybe they have their own ideas. Do you find that to be the case? Or
yeah, absolutely. I think on the college level, you only see them once half the time. If you're only teaching that one class, you'll never see them again. I mean, and we see our students every day, right?
Yeah.
Almost 24/7. Some of us 2, 3, 4 years, or every other day. So I mean, to see that, and then we have that kind of, relationship. It's a powerful thing.
Yeah. I think that the idea of mentoring, for whatever reason, that's been on my mind a lot lately. And just like, I never had a mentor in college I had one person, but they were there for a year and then they left. And I think if you have someone who can kind of show you the route or a route, it really helps you either see what you want to do or the fact that you don't want to do it, in which case you're saving money too. It's funny. I sometimes have kids who are great in class and they don't want to tell me they're not going to film school. And I'm like, I don't do what you want to do.
Do what you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah. But it doesn't hurt. Like there was a girl, I think Sage, CJ. Mm-hmm. She went to UPenn. She was the salutatorian of her class, 2018. Yeah. She's like, I'm not going for film. I'm going for political science. Yet she somehow fell into working on campus as an editor and a producer and all this kind of stuff. So it's kind of like, can't hurt.
She'll make political documentaries. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely. The girl who's the anchor for our news show, kind of took video, didn't really know, has fallen in love with it and done a great job. But she wants to be an EMT. She wants to work, maybe volunteer firefighter. And I said, that's great. Whatever you want, whatever your passion is, that's great. She ended up shooting a really great video for the fire company she works for. So it's like, you're using these skills. So I don't take offense. I hope you use them for whatever you want to do. I hope I was there to help you kind of learn these things. But like you said, anything that you support whatever they want to do. You're just kind of there to kind of, build their confidence and show them some skills that they can use, whether it's, on the amateur level or even when they move on.
Yeah. Yasmin was telling me that she's doing film in college, but she's also going to either minor or double major in like science. She wants to make films for National Geographic. I'm like, do it. And then hire me. I'll work. But that's her goal. So that's what she's going for. She wants to work for National Geographic and make videos. Great.
Yeah. It's funny. We were talking about that on the speaker who was in on Wednesday. He works at CNN. But that was his dream job. And he ended up saying to the kids, he's like, whatever you do, don't go through HR. He's like, go to LinkedIn, and get some work for them and just see if you could send them a reel or whatever. And it's like, that's the cool thing to me too, is like when you have students who either in class, like we're supposed to be the experts, but we don't know everything. Right. And so there's a kid who comes out and they say, why don't you do it this way? Like, oh, okay. So now I learned something. Or kids who go out into the real world and then bring something back, which is pretty awesome too.
Yeah.
As long as they show up to my funeral.
That's a good mantra.
I'm sure I won't see half these kids ever again. And I forget it. Oh man. but it's a lot of work, but it's been a lot of fun. I know you guys are talking about doing college classes and stuff, and I'm like, my mother came the other day. She's like, why don't you do that? Why don't you adjunct? I'm like, I don't have time to go to the bathroom. How am I going to do that? I'm a little busy right now. So
well, too. I mean, what in Monmouth County? There's Brookdale, and then there's Monmouth University, and you're not going to be getting paid that much money.
No.
Right. So
I could deliver pizzas and make it the same. And I've been asked like all this time. They're like, you want to, because we're teaching to do that. My buddy owns a pizza place. Like, you want to deliver? I'm like, I got a new car. There's no way. There's no way. I've ruined cars delivering pizzas.
We've all been there, that's for sure.
And I did it I did it when I was, working over at South with you. At night I was delivering like crazy. I loved it. It was, relaxing. It was fine. It was a lot of extra cash, so I didn't mind doing it at all.
Right.
But once I got a new car though, and they're like, "Yeah, can you do it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, there's no way. It's not worth the money for me now."
Right.
So.
Yeah, I always tell kids that if they get on my nerves, I tell them, well, that I have a job interview at Whole Foods the next day, because I think that's in my blood to work in a supermarket.
A lot of students actually, from what I heard, are a lot of the ones that are 18 are working like 60 hours a week at like Whole Foods and things like that. So taking all the jobs from older people, they can work it. So that's been happening a lot in our town. Like a few teachers have been out there, like they've seen all these kids working. They're like, yeah, I'm working like 60 hours. I'm like, well, that's why you're not handing any work in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you go in with a mask. This happened to me Saturday. You go in with a mask for something, and they recognize your voice. Like, I knew it was you.
That's why you got to live out of district.
That's right.
I do that for years, and this is the first time I didn't. So now I'm like in the thick of it. So
they can only see my eyes when I go out there. I have the whole mask here, this hat, like it's just this. So.
CJ, the hat's a dead giveaway, man.
Yeah.
If I wear this hat, they know.
You know that logo.
If I wear this hat, a couple of my other hats, though, I'll throw them on if I go out there, so people. Yeah, because I always get that second look. They're like, "Oh, shared universe." Yeah.
So Lou, you've been talking about doing your festivals next week. Like, what has that been like transitioning? I know you talked a little bit about this like privately, but what was that? Are you at least at the home stretch?
We are. So we have about 50 films that we're going to be showing for all the 4 years.
50. Wow.
It's just, and it's some of the work that are like some of just assignments, not just the concepts that they're working on. So it would be maybe the stop motion assignment. So, our students are always working on either narratives, documentaries, experimental, or stop motion or, animation. So it was a challenge because the thing was to kind of have them finish their work, because once they walk in the door in September, that's the goal, the film festival in May. That's our goal. Try to get as much stuff in as we possibly can, besides all the lectures and everything. So to get all the films, it's been a challenge, but we got it done. And thank our lucky stars that our admin was very supportive with us going back and getting the gear to the students and sending out the laptops and, having them finish their films. And, not only just for the underclassmen, but most importantly for those seniors, this was their last hurrah, their last film festival. And it's, as you guys know, it's a big community. It's a beautiful community, right? That energy that we have at those things, it's like something that you can't, put in a bottle, right? So, what we did, we're doing something really cool and really special this time around. Normally we do like an Oscar type awards for the students. And what we did was we reached out to all the alumni the past 6 years. So they're going to present the awards. So we got them all to hand in a cell phone video. So we're editing it together as we speak. And we'll be ready to go. Monday we'll be having a link out.
Nice.
James, are you doing a festival online at all, or just?
No, and I think you guys all know, like, our community gets to see the events that we do for the school, like the concerts, the sporting events, graduation, stuff like that. But we have so many really awesome, like, creative stuff that the kids do. And we don't always, get clearances for that kind of stuff because it's just in class stuff. So it's sad when you don't get that closure, Lou, like you were saying, for your seniors, they get to experience that. I think that when the kids come back, for those who do come back in September, hopefully they'll have a new appreciation for school and being back and being with, the teachers that really care and their classmates. But there's no film fest for us, virtually this year. We'll be doing the circuit. CJ, we'll be seeing you hopefully at the Hoyts and Brightside, and doing the local ones, and we'll see where they go from there. But I really miss just kind of like being with the kids and seeing their evolution.
Yeah. We're going to hopefully have Brightside this August. That's a hope. I'm figuring new ways to do it just in case. If we're like allowed certain people in a room, we might go longer days, 40-minute sets, and they would like every few feet or people in there, and just keep rotating for about 4 or 5 days, something like that, something different.
Lou, you're actually Brightside. Well, Brightside's in Jersey City, but you live in Jersey City.
Yeah. How is it? Yeah. How is it there?
How far?
Yeah.
Far away.
We say far away from me from where, to the school?
No, to Brightside.
10 minutes. Not even. I mean, I could literally catapult myself downtown. So it's getting the old catapult, just go, just be right over there. But
so that's what you've been working on in the quarantine, Lou, is a catapult.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Just working on that old, our old medieval ways of travel.
Is there any open space there where you could do like an outdoor thing in the summer?
Not really there, unfortunately. They just had the sidewalk, and a lot of people in the neighborhood that would probably frown upon it.
Okay.
That's the thing that's interesting too. I mean, I'm really digging. I don't know if I would assume all you guys are too. Is this new revival of the drive-in?
I can't wait.
It's incredible.
I think, Chris, do you know this one? There's a drive-in supposed to be here, open now, or about to, on 35.
No, I didn't hear about that.
I heard about it like a month ago, and then nothing since.
I heard something about Ocean County, and I think Lou was on the call, but I don't know anything about Middletown.
I know
not Ocean County, but like by me, I'm in
Eatontown.
Well, I'm in Eatontown, but Ocean's down the road here.
Okay,
right down the road.
Ocean Township.
Yeah,
there's a couple of festivals. I think the Lighthouse International Film Festival, they're doing theirs all drive-in.
I might just go just to do it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, drive-in. The last thing I heard is that some's virtual and some's the drive-in, but I don't know.
Okay,
but they're advertising it as drive-in.
Yeah.
Shame on me. I've never actually been to a drive-in movie.
Either ever. Never in my
kid
life.
I was. Little kid I was.
I know. So now's the time, right? I mean, if there's any time to do it, now is it, right? So
if there is one around, I'm going because I've never been.
Well, that's Chris. That's one thing I was thinking about because we were talking. Students, I'm like, how are we going to do our film festival? Because we do it virtually or whatever. But one of the ideas was like, what if you did it and I don't think they would go for it, but what if you did it at Brookdale and you sent the audio signal through their radio station to the card?
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
But I think they closed the campus, so I don't know. And I talked to my principal today, and he was like, "Yeah, you're not going to be doing anything like that, at least related to school." So,
well, with our fest, whatever films were done, I put together, and it was about 45 minutes long. I got some semi-celebrity people I know to do some intro stuff to surprise everybody, and I threw it together, and it's on our YouTube, and it's got like 400 hits, so I was happy.
And you did that in April, no?
Yeah, April.
Okay.
That was right when we started. Wow.
I just wanted something to get done, something out there, just so So I did it quickly.
That's the thing. Like I'm still waiting. Like I ended up getting. Of course, it's Vic again.
Yeah.
She was late getting her film together because she had AP testing, and then she's like, "Well, I'm changing my idea. I saw a dead bird. I'm going to make a film about a dead bird." So I'm like, "All right, whatever." So 8 hours later, she ends up with a rough cut, and it's like really cool. Experimental, Lewis. Dead bird, a little narrative, but Lou always busts my chops about experimental. It's not. So, but it's just like cool, like weird, almost Maya Deren-ish, but not as crazy visually.
I just had a feeling a lot of students would not make films over this, and there's only a select few that would. And I was right. Because we don't have anything new.
Their films for me are due today, but my expectation was like, let's just see if something happens. And a lot of them are having problems, like because their footage gets stuck in the cloud or they're editing on their phone, which you can't really do. So, and with our grading policy, it's really
changes every day.
Basically, as long as if you get a 65, between a 65 and a 90, you end up with a 90. That's my understanding.
Yes.
And they don't want any. I'm not quite sure exactly how the whole thing works, but in that scenario, as far as being lenient with your grading, you could actually give them an honest grade, probably.
Yep.
If, in other words, they can, oh, you got a 75 on this, but don't worry, because the end grade's going to be up. And two, it's like, it's a collaborative art, and these guys they're working by themselves. So
yeah,
let's say a brother or sister.
Have your students felt that it's hard to do it by themselves?
Oh yeah. I checked my email at like 1:57 when you texted me. I'm like, give me 3 minutes. And they're all like, we need extra time. We need extra time. It's like, all right, fine. Just make sure you fill out your attendance form for today. Because
what about you guys, your students? Do they feel like it's really hard doing it by themselves?
I think in the beginning, when they didn't have the software and the cameras, what we did was right when we started the quarantine, we did like a little mini film festival that we just shared unlisted to the students. So we called it the Outbreak Film Fest. So it wasn't quarantine films, it was just regular films. What can they do and how can they be resourceful? Using whatever kind of editing software, as Chris was saying, on the cell phone. Then you started seeing Adobe started posting some things. Final Cut was now free. Logic started to become free. So if they had Apple laptops or something, they were able to put something together. But the ones who work in a film crew situation, yeah, it was totally difficult. Plus, you couldn't go anywhere, right? You were locked down, and that was very, very challenging.
I couldn't even make a video by myself on my phone. I kept dropping the phone. I was trying to do a video for the kids to say, like, congratulations, 2020. I kept dropping it. It was getting all like foggy here because it's hot, and I got one light, and then I turned that light on, and it was like shining on my head, and it was ridiculous. I couldn't. Like, I need one more person.
CJ, a floor fan and some gaff tape will do wonders.
Because I was going to say you did it.
Yeah,
and I was like, you did it. How can I not do this? It's driving me nuts.
Yeah, I taped a phone to a fan, but like you said, a lot of the kids have their phones. They have cameras. They have 4K cameras in their pockets, but they don't all have the software. They don't have Adobe Creative Cloud or Final Cut or whatever. So that's really the challenge, because they can shoot stuff, but without the editing, it's a movie's not a movie unless it's edited, really, unless it's experimental. But it's certainly been tough. So a lot of the work I've been given is really just like view and review and critique, just to keep things equitable, because I don't know every single kid's situation, what they have, hardware wise, software wise, phone wise. So it's been tough, but
I tried to use this because this came with my one little round light. You put the cell phone in here, but I'm not good at it. I kept going, like I put it in and it hits the record button right away. So it's recording the whole time, and you just hear me cursing and like, what's going on? And it won't let you turn it off. It's just rolling. And then I moved it so that I could press the button, because it automatically, like it that top there, it just comes down and it hits the record button. But I don't know. I got to learn how to do it, but I'm not good on cell phones. Yeah. I'm not good. I'm the worst selfie person.
It's funny you talk about like cell phones, right? I didn't edit it, but I went out for a drive like a couple weeks in, and I went to by your house at Fort Monmouth, and like that's a great location.
Did you see me running?
I didn't, but it's
running around.
And do you guys know Fort Monmouth? Are you familiar with it?
Yeah, it's nice to film over here. Yeah,
it's like an old army base. Yeah. And I don't know if I think they have a few schools or something that moved in, but they have a movie theater. They have like a jail, all this stuff that's not being used. And it would be like an awesome, like they should make it into a studio or something.
I've been saying that for 5 years. Like when they were saying Tribeca doing this and De Niro and all that, and Miramax was trying, I was like, right here. It's kind of like the army, the Brooklyn Naval Yard. Yeah. It's the same thing right here.
Yeah, and if you had to, like, because you have all this stuff, I think up in Secaucus, and I think in East Rutherford, you have a couple of studios and the old Izod Center, I guess.
Yeah, they keep growing. They're growing now.
Yeah, but why not have something down the shore? It gives you a different vibe. If you need to head out to Sandy Hook and shoot, or it's just a different environment. That would be really cool. But I don't know if they're going to do that.
So if you guys find the financing, let me know, man. I'll be there.
I was always thinking about if I won the lottery, I'm making a studio right here. I live right outside the door.
It could be our own Hill Valley down there, right? We'll just change some of the storefronts and we'll be good.
I showed these kids, there's these guys online that do these shorts for YouTube and stuff. And there was this awesome one where they got to go to Universal and they filmed on the lot with Back to the Future with the whole thing. All the young guys that are filming going, this is amazing. And even the kids watching be like, that's so cool. How can we do that? Because they gave them 20 grand to do it. That's why they can do it.
Right.
And Gremlins too. Gremlins is on that back lot.
Is it?
Yeah, same locale.
Wow. But it was just so cool to see the behind the scenes and see that and see the clock tower there. I'm like, no, why can't we do that?
Yeah, and especially now, like this would be the perfect time if you had something in your back pocket because their content has not been created. And people are going to start. I guess they're feeling it now, and if they're not going to feel it in the summer, it'd be great if you like with Tarantino, what he did, Reservoir Dogs, and they said, "Do you have any more scripts?" And I think he had, was it True Romance or was it
True Romance? Yeah, because he just sold it as a writer.
Yeah, it was like here, and then he had what was the other one? Oh, damn it, Oliver Stone directed it, but it was
Natural Born Killers.
Yeah, Born Killers. Yeah,
and apparently he hated it. Like he wanted his name taken off of it or something.
Yeah. You didn't like the movie? No? Wow.
Yeah. That's a great movie. There were so many great movies that I think we're probably all in the same age bracket mostly. Like I remember going to Middletown Movies and seeing Pulp Fiction for $2 like over and over and over again. Like you go once a week, probably saw it times.
It's great stuff, man. So and today it's on TV. Now,
or Netflix or on demand or whatever.
Yeah,
and a lot of TV shows are turning into these films now, like Ozark. You ever see that? It's like watching movies, like all these shows now. It's crazy. It's like remember back in the day when we were younger, if you were a TV star, you were a TV star. If you were a movie star, you were a movie star. And if you went to TV, your career was over in the movies. But it's completely different,
Or you knew you had a paycheck.
Yeah. Or like, they had to redeem themselves, do some TV, get big again, and then go back to the movies. It's the way it was. But now it's like they all want to do TV.
Yeah. But also, think about that. You talk about that timeline of how the early 2000s, like it was all, not everything, but it was a lot of reality television. But you had the seeds of great shows like The Wire and Sopranos and Lost and stuff like that. And now, like, I don't know, for me, like Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, those types of shows are just like phenomenal.
They're just like miniseries movies, and they cut them up and they put them out there, and they're so well done. And
well, you mentioned the abandoned Fort Monmouth as a great location. I know not that long ago, Zack Snyder was down in AC. He was shooting a sequel of Dawn of the Dead. He used the Showboat Casino.
And I was there.
Yeah, they set the movie. It's supposed to take place in Las Vegas, but you're in a casino. You're in a casino. You can say it takes place on the moon. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. So they used that space to shoot. I forget the name of the new of the Dead movie, but it's just super cool to see big time productions like in Jersey.
Yeah, that was Dave Bautista was in it because the HorrorCon that was going on, and they had to be moved upstairs. So I was at the HorrorCon, and we had to go to the second floor because they're doing a movie downstairs. So they had they were covering it up with all these sheets and stuff, and everyone's peeking in, seeing if they could see everyone filming because they were filming, they were doing it. And every so often, you just walk around and you see someone from the film.
Is that going in theaters?
Netflix.
Oh,
Wow.
really?
Very cool.
Were there noise issues? Like with people like coming up, was that an issue, or was it just like?
I'm sure it was. I'm sure they were complaining both ways. Like the fest was complaining that because they were supposed to have the floor, but they moved them because they're like, no, they just gave us $100 million. So
no, it's a great thing. Like when you're on set, whatever the set is, and you're shooting something, and some of the actor gets it right, and then there's a big loud noise.
Yeah.
Now we didn't hear
it happens all the time.
But I know Charlie Sheen was at that one, and he apparently had a party going on.
I don't believe you. Believe you. That's crazy.
No, he was actually staying. I heard the story. He was staying at the Showboat, but the ocean next door, the Oceanate, whatever it is, they found out it was Charlie Sheen, so they gave him an entire floor.
Wow.
They're like, here, have a floor.
Nice.
Charlie Sheen didn't make it back the next day.
Wait, are you saying
Out there the next day.
CJ Cullen doesn't have that kind of pool? He can just get a whole floor?
No.
And one day, give me a room that bigger than one bed. You know? One day.
Wait, so when was this?
During
in the fall, right?
In
Yeah.
the fall?
AJ Horicon?
Hurricane, yeah. You weren't there, Lou?
I think so. Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
We had to go to the second floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always have a fun time there. There's always something crazy that happens every time I go. It is always weird stuff. So it just adds to the story every single time. I think that was the one where I met Leah Thompson and I couldn't talk, and Ming, who's behind me here, he was talking for me because I went
Yeah.
Leah, and she's talking to me. She's like, "You're cute," and I'm like, "Ah!"
I was waiting for the photo, and then I was just supposed to go get for Leah, and then I hear, "Get in here, butthead!" And then I get both, and I'm like, "Hey, I got a picture of both."
I didn't get a picture with him, but I heard Ming went over to say hello, and I followed. I was there, and then as we were leaving, and he was leaving at the time. It was like Friday night. There was like nobody there, so he's leaving for a minute, and I go, "Hey, my buddy's coming tomorrow. We're gonna take a picture with you." And he goes, "All right, butthead." And I was like, "Oh my god, butthead!" It was the coolest moment ever.
That's funny.
My childhood is complete.
Yes.
Thank you.
That was one of the coolest moments ever.
It's funny you're talking about this because my son it was either last night or the other day. He's like, I'm watching that movie, Back to the Future.
Oh.
That really new guy who calls everyone butthead. That's awesome.
What an amazing movie. Now they're doing like tours all over the place. They're at these cons constantly, all of them. Even Michael J. Fox goes to some of these. Yeah. But Crispin Glover, never. He said he'd never do it. So.
We had a falling out right after the first one with producers and stuff.
It was like the writer-producer guy. He said Robert Zemeckis he gets along with. I just heard something he was talking about. He's like, Robert Zemeckis did another film with him. He's fine with that. But he hates the writer-producer.
Bob Gale?
Yeah, Bob Gale. Hates him. Hates him. He said, I will never do a thing for Back to the Future because of that guy. Crazy, right?
Yeah, but it's sad because that's the movie that put him on the map, right? That's the kind of movie that made him.
Right. But that's not his thing, though. He's like, a indie guy.
He's very eccentric.
Well, he had to turn into that because he got blacklisted for a long time.
Yeah,
he's an artist too. He's got the artist mentality.
Right? Yeah, when he kicked Letterman in the face.
Yes.
I'm strong. I can punch. I can kick.
He was so good, and he
River's Edge. Remember that?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like anything I've seen him in, like he was in the Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland movies, right? Like, he was good.
Yeah.
Even the Charlie's Angels, how bad those movies were, he was amazing, and he didn't even speak. He didn't talk
I think on the side he does these handwritten books, like books. I think he just writes them freehand and sells them.
Because he does have a book out about Back to the Future. I wonder if he wrote it that way. There's a book out about his experiences and what happened. But he's an interesting character. It's too bad he wasn't on the rest, or you can't meet him at these things because he'd be interesting.
For sure.
Maybe one day.
That was one of those movies as a kid I remember going to see multiple times. Like it was just such a cool ride, man.
That got me into all this. Back to the Future was one of those films. I'd be like, I want to do this. So I don't know if that was for you guys or what film kind of brought you into doing all this. Mine was probably around that time. All those movies like Back to the Future. I kind of lied. There was a book that the vacation movie, National Lampoon's Vacation.
Yeah.
I met the woman who played the daughter, the and he was writing a book. So I came up with this whole conversation for her book about when I saw Vacation for the first time, made me want to make movies and stuff. And everyone there was like, "Wow, that was the coolest story." And I walk away with my buddy, go, "Yeah, I just made that up." But
for me,
is a film for you guys?
Apocalypse Now. I was 9 years old, and my grandmother passed away. So my dad was he was just he's mourning. And so was his mom. And I'm like, can I watch this movie? It's a war movie. And he was like, yeah, whatever. Like he wasn't paying attention. So I remember watching it and I didn't know, because it's not really a war movie. It's like a descent into madness. And I just remember when they approach Kurtz's compound and there's everybody is in white, like that white body paint, and then music. Like I just didn't know what the hell was going on, but it was like just like. And it's like the first time a movie had like a crazy effect on me that like was subconscious and I couldn't explain it.
What about you guys? Any movie particular?
James, you want to go first?
Sure. Like, I mean, I was you know, I was an '80s baby, so my formative years, or teenage years, were in the '90s. So it was the Kevin Smiths, the Robert Rodriguez, the Quentin Tarantinos, that whole scene, you know, in the mid '90s of you know, to a lesser extent, people like Richard Linklater or David Lynch, like just that whole indie sweep that came in. You know, just thinking like, wow, you know, if these guys are doing it, like. Not that anybody can do it, because certainly you have to be super talented, but just to kind of see the different voices and the different ways. You know, reading Robert Rodriguez's book when I was, I don't know, 15, 16, A Rebel Without a Crew.
Yeah.
You know, seeing kind of like what he did and how he did it, you know, watching DVD commentaries. I know that makes me seem old.
No,
but like,
yeah.
You know, seeing people like your friend CJ Kevin Smith saying, you know, I did this at night. I was working during the day and shooting this at night. Or, you know, Robert Rodriguez saying, oh, I went to this town because my friend lived there and that's why we got to shoot all this stuff. So just kind of seeing that kind of like, you don't need $50 million. You know, like you can do this if you're passionate about it and you're good at it. And even if you're not good at it, just do it anyway, you know, and figure it out as you go along.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just that whole scene really got me into it.
What about you, Lewis?
When movies have been on in our household forever when we were kids. I have an older brother. I have a twin brother. So, I mean, I just remember all of us watching every Raiders of the Lost Ark film from Star Wars. My dad was a massive Clint Eastwood fan. So The Good, the Bad, the Ugly was always on. Any old Turner Classic movies from Casablanca, Singing in the Rain, you know, all these films were always on. So we just were always watching TV from all the different TV shows. So I would say that era. And then what James said, I mean, right when I was, you know, in that teenage years, first seeing Clerks and then seeing Robert Rodriguez and, you know, Quentin Tarantino, it was like, wow, could this be something that I could possibly want to get into and do for a living and have this passion? Because, you know, for where we are, when we grew up, it was that, you know, 40 hours a week, you got to get that job with the benefits, like, you know, that's what you need. And you never know, like you could actually make your dreams come true. And you know, again, dedication and a passion to this. It's not easy, but we could do it. We could do it.
It's not easy. You just got to stick with it and do all the stuff, and things happen. You never know.
And then you got to hope that a film teacher dies somewhere. So
that's right.
Right.
That's right.
Or leaves to make movies.
You know what? That is a little point, though. Like, you know, when you go into teaching, it's like it's somewhat secure, you know, compared to other things in film. For me, I remember working in production and one day just being like, I'm just so done with these 18-hour days. And two, I was working like in TV, not film.
Yeah.
And I was turning to someone and said, like, I want to teach. And it took me, I feel like it took me 4 years of interviews to get a teaching job. And just going to play, like now I think back on it, going to an interview where someone's interviewing you and you're like, this person doesn't know what they're talking about. Like, you know, it's insane. I mean, even like Chris, I mean, it took you a while, right? Like to get gig at North.
Yeah.
I apparently for me at South, I was at Warren Hills. I had tenure. I was fine. And it was completely filmed, no TV, which was great. But it was a 3-hour commute round trip. And they interviewed me. I put an application in May, and apparently they promised it to somebody else, supposedly.
Oh.
And no one called me until like mid-July as like, oh, well, we just want you to come in for an interview. So I showed them all this work, and they were like, can you take the job? Like they wanted me like really bad to take the job. But it's like, if they don't know what they're looking at, like it's really, it's tough. I mean, it's like, I always forget this, like Lou's job. I interviewed for Lou's job before he had it, and they went with somebody else, and that didn't work out so well. Then Lou took the job. Like it's just weird, you know, like it's funny because I don't feel like people know what they're looking for.
Yeah.
We're hiring for this position.
It changes. It always changes, it seems.
Yeah, it takes time. I mean, for Chris, it took me about 3 years to find a full-time position. and I was already in my 30s, constantly working adjunct work, working for a film festival part-time and doing other odds and ends to make ends meet. So, it takes a long time to get that, position. So if any students are watching, just be persistent and stick with it. It'll happen.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
What about you, James?
So I started, very much like you, Chris. I was a teaching assistant. I was at William Patterson. I sprung that into some adjunct work, and then I got a secondary ed job. But then the Northern, where I work now, was looking to start a program. And actually, my family is from central New Jersey, Mercer County, Burlington County, and I went down there and I said, "This is where my family's from, and I would love to be a part of this and start this program." And they were on board, and they've been, it's been awesome. It's been super supportive. I think maybe 15 years ago, video production wasn't really. At some places it was prevalent, but at other places it was like, what is this, kind of thing. But once the kids and the community and everybody was on board, and the administration was on board, superintendent, everybody was, gung ho about it. So we just went with it, man. And it's been awesome because just to see the growth, started with just the classes. Now we have a YouTube channel with all of our school events, sporting events, graduation, all that stuff. So I remember when we had a head end unit and we were plugging into Comcast and Verizon, and that's gone. That was for about 10 years, and now it's all digital. It's all on demand. So it's been a fun ride, and it's exciting to kind of see the evolution. We started with the old Final Cut, like the 6 whatever, and then transitioned over to the Adobe Suite, and now we're on Creative Cloud. So just kind of rolling with the punches and going with it. And it's crazy because I'm showing kids stuff that I didn't learn until I was in grad school. And I'm showing it to 14-year-old kids, freshmen, halfway through their freshman year. They're doing stuff I couldn't even imagine doing when I was even in college or in grad school. So it's awesome.
I didn't know Adobe until I was in his classroom. So
But isn't that the funny thing is I feel like whoever taught it before, like they didn't think there's that idea of, for me, the most important thing about teaching this is having a practical application for what is learned, right? And so when you have a kid going out and showing their work, like Chris, we had the conversation about Real Girls, like that's an international thing, whether you get to go there or not. That's like, whoa, oh, you're putting our school on the map because you're doing these things. Even if the school is focused on athletics, at least it's showing like you have a strong like creative end and all that kind of thing. So I mean, it's the way it's being taught. I think I think the right people are coming in or have come in the last 10 years. And it's like, like we all talk about, we all have different approaches. We all have different game, but whatever you do, you have to have game. Yeah. Now, that being said, you said, James, do you know Chris Williams?
Yeah, he was one of my teachers and then later a colleague. So great instructor. He got his degree at NYU, his master's, and worked on a Spike Lee flick. I think it was Cullen, right? He worked on, and Chris is great. I still talk to him. I still send him my student stuff. I still send him my own stuff. He was awesome when I was there as a student, and even awesomer now, like as sort of like kind of the older statesman. Kind of just getting his feedback means a lot to me, because when I was a young person, he was kind of there and he was kind of showing me the way. So yeah, I know Chris pretty well.
So when we were talking about mentors, I said there was one guy, but then he left, and that was Chris.
Oh, well, there you go.
Well, and Chris was hilarious because he would say stuff like, there was some, I was in college, I'm talking to this girl while we're doing it like a exposure test, and this is outside, and he goes, "Chris, come here," because I'm Chris too. He goes,
everyone's Chris.
He's like, "Listen, we're doing a test. If you're going to get her number, go back and make sure." Not.
That sounds like him. Yeah, for sure.
Always very like, I can be kind of, when I'm giving reviews, I can be a little harsh. He knows how to smooth out that harshness. Like there's a time, like a second film, that's when I had him, it was like film 2. And there's a part, we're doing the moviola. I don't know if you guys did this, but like, I think it was moviola, where you actually hand crank it and look through the viewfinder. And I screwed up, and I have this guy puts down a fishing pole like 3 times. He's supposed to do it once. And so I show it, and Chris is like, "That's genius. That's great, man." I screwed up. But third week, and it's like, "Oh, yeah, thanks." Like,
yeah.
Well, I like to show him stuff, and then he'll like pick my brain, like, oh, how long did you guys do this? I'll say, oh, my kids shot this in an afternoon, or 2 study halls, whatever. It's like, that's awesome. They shot. I tell my kids all the time, there's people out there, they're busting their butts harder than you. They're making movies in 2 hours. You guys, you got to remember, there's people out there, and they're doing everything they can.
Right.
So it's cool to hear that, kind of like either get the positive reinforcement, but also get his perspective, because he's at the college level. So like my kids, if I get a positive review from him, I'll say, hey, a buddy of mine, or former colleague of mine, I showed him your film, and he teaches at a college, and he went to NYU, and he gave you these tips and these things that he really liked, and just to kind of get that perspective, I think means a lot to him.
Yeah.
I think the kids also like when we're at the festivals, and like somebody that they're like, oh, well, that's an actor or something, and they just saw my film, and then that person comes up to them like, oh, I loved your short.
Right.
You just see their faces like, what?
Like you talk about Chris, where he's talking about like the positive, like turning a negative into a positive. He tells a story and he forgot it was me, but I went home for the weekend to shoot something, and I forgot the light meter. We're shooting 16 millimeter film. So I called my friend in Livingston and said, go outside and take a light meter reading. And so he gave us like whatever it was, and I used it, and it worked. And so he was just like, that's hilarious, because there's no way it should have worked. But I think it was cloudy, so it was like, I forget what it was. It's
well,
something F11.
It's funny.
Well, guys, if you want to promote anything before we go, and if you want to go around and just if you want to say some websites or where they could see your stuff. I know we have YouTube pages, which we have to transfer over because YouTube is about to take ours down.
Yes, so Lou, you want to get on that?
Yeah, I got to get on that. But it stinks. I built this page up like crazy, but I think there's a way you could just transfer the whole thing over to another one. And I got to make sure I do it right, because I don't want to lose anything.
Yeah, we should probably
get on that
day to do that.
Yeah, I'm
dreading it.
Yeah, I'm dreading it too. I don't want to, but I guess we got to do it. But it is what it is. But I don't want to lose it. I don't want to lose that page. So if you guys want to promote anything, we'll go around. James, if you want to start, and like,
sure. I mean, CJ, thanks for having me on the pod, man. Really excited about it, and thanks for always being supportive with Brightside and the Hoyts Fest. Hopefully, anybody can check out our Northern TV page on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter. Check out some of the cool things that we do for our community, and the things that our kids do. And it's nice to meet both you other guys, Chris and Lou. Look forward to kind of getting your feedback in the future. Hopefully we'll run into each other at some fests. Or
they sometimes go to Brightside. It's like either or, this day or that day, or this year or this one.
Yeah, or maybe just on a future pod, man. So you guys had some great insight, great cool things to say. And CJ, always a pleasure, man.
Yeah. What about you, Lewis?
Yeah, you could to know more about our program, you can visit digitalfilmmcvts.com. And we're promoting our 6th Real Film Festival, which is going to be on YouTube Live premiere Friday, June 5th at 6 p.m. You can go to youtube.com/digitalfilmevtech.
Lou,
and thank you guys. Yeah.
Lou, can you do a screen share on this of that to put it up, or no?
Yeah, Meg might be able to do that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure.
After fact. Okay.
Well, you can do it now live. I think he's. Let's see the live comments. You put some stuff up there for us. If you look in the live comments, you put up your schools and the websites and stuff. So.
Yep, there's East Brunswick. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, cool.
So, what about you?
I don't even know what.
There it is.
We're probably going to do something for a film festival. I don't know what it's going to be.
No.
I was holding out for that drive-in idea, but I don't know.
Can't you just set up we could do like a blow-up screen in the south parking lot and just have giant speakers and like tell everyone at Bresh Farms, don't worry, it's just movies, and just blast it?
Well, I mean, we could do that because there is a screen. There is a screen in district.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the blow-up screen, it's just a matter of whether they'll let us do it. I think the main issue is we probably can't collect money, and that it's also, which is fine, but bathrooms, I think that's the issue.
that is an issue, yeah.
But
I was at the school the other day. I'm like, can I use the bathroom? Am I allowed to use the bathroom? There was one. I had to run all the way down the hallway to use the one.
Yeah, but well, I mean, if anybody needs to get to me, you can go through CJ. I'm Chris Corey, Middletown High School South. I'm the sister school to Chris's program, and I'm always I'm not always at the film festivals. I'd say I'm 75% at your film festivals because
Yes.
Right Side in March
Right.
on my girlfriend doing my wife's.
She would like that one. There you go. That's where you go away with your girlfriend.
Which girlfriend you talking about?
Chris, and don't forget our New Jersey Young coming soon.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's still up in the air, right? So
Yeah.
Lou and I are
You might do that online, right? You might have to do that online.
Yeah.
yes, but Lou and I are advisory board members of the Black Mariah Film Festival. Lou's been attached to it forever.
Yeah.
And under that umbrella, we are on the committee of New Jersey Young Filmmakers, which they're accepting submissions through the end of June, I think.
Yeah.
New Jersey Young Filmmakers, you can find it on Film Freeway. They're looking for submissions from people who are from New Jersey, right? Want to get this right?
High school and college.
High school and college. And the event usually is screened at the Edison Historic Site in West Orange, New Jersey, and it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's great.
Great time. It's always a great time.
Because everyone who judges it is really harsh. So it's like,
I've learned that, or I've heard that, or seen that, or no, I went to one of the events, right? It wasn't the official event, but it was one event that we went to.
Bickford Theater, yeah, where they did it in the Bickford Theater, and you and I are the only ones that showed up.
Yeah.
But the one at West Orange is New Jersey Young Filmmakers is it's usually pretty well attended, you know.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, if you make it through that, then you're top notch because it's gone through the ringer.
You got Thomas Edison's approval.
Okay, fair enough.
Now, if you show up and your name is Tesla, you got problems.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
You always told me to submit. I finally submitted two films, but I don't know. I put in two.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, I've had stuff where I know, like we can't. If you're a high school teacher, you can't, be part or know anything about like the judging for high school. You can be part of college and vice versa. But I've had someone come out of a thing saying, "Really, that film was terrible." Like, sorry,
It happens a lot. I'm used to that.
Yeah,
I'm used to it. Well, we have 182 films for Hang On to Your Shorts that's coming up in September, so that would be fun.
I might
have to go online.
Is that still open?
No, we closed that a long time ago. We thought we were going to have it, so it's just sitting there. And I think I'll get back to doing stuff once school ends.
But they're no longer accepting submissions because you have 180 some films.
Yeah,
right?
I have the schedule. Okay. It's all picked. It was like so many films this year.
Okay.
I don't even know if we'll get to do another year because we're kind of like overlapping. And then by the time we're not going to have enough films and no one's making films. So there's all these film festivals are shutting down for a year because they're not getting films.
Yeah.
Then people aren't making them. People aren't sending them. So, even Bright Side's pretty short right now than usual. We do have some, but it's lower than usual.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Well, then maybe that will be better because then we don't have as many films and we can spread people apart.
Right.
So it'll be interesting. We'll see. I really want to try and do it. It might be the first film festival back. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Chris, CJ, I always call Chris. Thank you so much for putting us on and me on. And also I know like you've been badgering me to give you time. So I'm really sorry about that. Like it took me a while, but we were texting back and forth before this, like, man, I'm tired. But this was good. This was great. Thank you.
Awesome. Nice meeting you guys.
Yeah,
I got another show coming up with Yasmin's going to interview this girl Clementine who's was in a short film that we found out that was out in LA, a really cool film. So that's coming up next.
CJ, just tell Yasmin thanks for graduating because she's winning all the awards.
Oh yeah,
none of us can.
Yeah, I know, right?
Thanks.
She's on a hot streak right now because she had like one or two films right at the end there, and she's on a hot streak. So
yeah, no, her stuff has been fantastic. So kudos to you, kudos to her, the whole program, man.
And thanks. You're a nice person too.
Yeah, definitely. So. If anyone wants to tune in at 4, that will be here live. And thanks for coming in. And that's all she wrote, man. Thanks for coming and awesome show.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Later.